Hello and welcome to Entrepreneurship Art. My name is Dan Cervantes and this is the Music Industry Swipe File. The Music Industry Swipe File started as a blog series that I was running, where every week I would take a look at ads that different artists were running, usually artists that had enough money or were signed to labels with enough money where they could afford great marketers, great creative teams. And the idea is we could look and see what these major label, usually artists, are running and get some insights for independent artists or independent companies that are looking to run ads, usually on social media. I stopped doing this series about a year ago, frankly just because I got busy, but I'm really excited to bring it back, and especially in video form. So welcome to the first video Music Industry Swipe File. Before we get started, I think it'd be useful to explain what a swipe file is historically. A swipe file would be what an ad agency would have. I believe originally it would be an actual file, like a folder of print advertisements and designs that either that agency had used before or things they'd cut out of magazines. And so there would be kind of a record or a folder of ideas to go through every time they had a new client or were looking for inspiration. And so we're kind of doing something similar here, where we're looking at what are other artists, other companies doing, and how can we get inspiration from that. So for this month, it is May 2020, the world is still in quarantine. It is a very, very interesting and delicate time for running ads anywhere, but especially on social media. So rather than focus just on artists, I wanted to take a look and see what companies that are particularly affected, both positively and negatively, by people having to stay at home. So we're gonna look at ads from three different parties. First is Twitch, owned by Amazon, Jeff Bezos. So one, you know they have money. Two, more and more people are watching Twitch than ever before. Historically, it's been a video game streaming platform, but now you're seeing musicians get up and use Twitch, especially EDM artists. You are seeing like just more talk streams, and then still a ton of video game streaming. So I'm really, really curious what, if anything, Twitch is doing right now, given that so many more people are interested in their service. I mean, even Willie Nelson did his 420 concert on Twitch. So they're reaching a larger audience, whether that's their intention to or not. So I want to see how they're responding to that. The second is Spotify. Spotify is an interesting situation because passive consumption is down. And by passive consumption, I mean you're not actually watching anything. It's like music in the background or a podcast you're listening to on your commute to work. That is way down for obvious reasons. In fact, in Spotify's earnings call, I believe they said it was down 7.6%. Granted, that was a month ago, so who knows how it's shaken out to now, but that's significant. And also, Spotify is losing customers. They're not losing users. So daily active users are staying pretty consistent, the amount of people that are using Spotify, but some people are canceling their premium subscriptions and using the free version. Daniel Ek said he expects that to change as we get our feet back, as people start making money again and the economy starts to recover. But right now, Spotify is having to rely on their ad-supported free version to make money, which is difficult because people aren't running as many ads right now. So it's a difficult position for Spotify to be in, and I'm really, really curious what type of ads they're running as a response. And last, I'll open up Apple Music. I'm not a Spotify user, I use Apple Music because I'm stuck in the Apple ecosystem. So we'll see what new artists or what new releases have come out in the past week and see what they're doing to promote their album. All right, let's start with Twitch. So I'm going to share with you the secret of how I find all these ads. It's something anybody can do. I don't have any special software that allows me to see what ads other companies are running. It's something that Facebook built into their product as a response to the 2016 elections and the misinformation ad campaigns that were being run. So here, I'll show you how to do it. Go to Facebook, First company, let's look up Twitch. We'll start with Twitch. All right, so here's Twitch, 1.4 million likes, good for them. Let's scroll down. Page transparency. All right, so this is our window into what Spotify is doing. All right, so I hit the see more button and it pulls up all this information, organizations that manage the page, when the page was created, the different locations of people that manage the page. This is all great. Let's scroll down. See ads from this page. This page is currently running ads. This is what we want. All right, go to ad library. Let's see what they are running. All right, right off the bat, the first ads that we're seeing are ads for live talk shows and podcasts. All right, so immediately we're seeing ads that are not just about video game streaming. And it looks like they're really emphasizing, based on the thumbnail, the comment section of Twitch, which I guess is a competitive advantage, how active the comment section is on Twitch streams. Install now is the call to action. They're pushing people to the play.google, so the Google App Store. So trying to get installs, and they're running this on Facebook, Instagram, Ad Network, and Messenger. Here we go. All right, great. Here are the music ads. Love music, dancing, and everything in between. Watch live now on Twitch. Great. All right, so it looks like they are running 3. All of these are pushing to the Google Play Store, so they're looking to get downloads. All right, let's hit play and see what this looks like. All right, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. So the beginning and the end are both, again, emphasized in the comments section, the interaction between streamer and fan with the kind of emojis and comment section type screen. I am surprised that they've got the dancer to begin with. That's cool. The second scene was a drummer wearing a Twitch shirt in front of a green screen. It looks like there's a Pokemon behind them. That makes sense. That's kind of the Twitch video game music overlap. I love that. And the last one just looks like a drummer at a club playing. So cool. I'm surprised they went so hard on drummers in this one. Maybe they're targeting drum fans as part of their targeting. I would be surprised if that's what it was. But yeah, to be honest, not what I expected. And actually, if you look at the first drum segment, at the top, you see notifications about a fan subscribing, a fan gifting. They're including that as part of this is how Twitch is different. It looks like the only difference between the 3 ads is the color background during the kind of comment section. So we got black, white, and purple. So I assume that means they're A/B testing the different colors, which is fine. That's probably not the first A/B test that I would do. I would A/B test, should I use 2 drummers in one ad or should I use a drummer in something else? But this is what they went with. All right, let's see what other ads they're running. All right, cooking ads. All right, interesting. So they're, again, promoting someone that's not video game live streaming. They're pushing streamers that are doing cooking shows. That's cool to see. All right, scroll down. All right, more of the music ads, and these are ones that are pushing people to install via the Apple App Store, the iOS App Store. All right, more of the same ads, but in different versions. So you'll see the vertical ads will show up as an Instagram story, Facebook story. The horizontal ads will show up as like a news feed post. And as we go further back, all right, League of Legends, Fortnite. All right, these are some more of their the video game ads that you would expect, right? And these have been running since March. Okay, cool. Truthfully, not what I expected, especially with Amazon having the big bucks, but I guess this is what's working for them, or just what they've settled for. And maybe they don't need to do that much advertising right now. Maybe they're getting so much organic traction that running ads just kind of the cherry on top. All right, so I'm very curious to see how this compares with Spotify's strategy, right? They're not direct competitors, but I think there's enough overlap, especially between Amazon's music business and Spotify's music business, that they are competing for eyeballs, they are competing for attention and ultimately users at the end of the day. Obviously, Spotify has a way bigger market share as far as music streaming compared to Amazon Music. But Spotify doesn't have something that competes with Twitch, although Spotify does podcasts and music. So again, Spotify is getting outside of their original zone of just music. Twitch is getting out of its original zone of just video game live streaming. So we're seeing a lot more overlap. But let's go to Spotify and see what they're doing. And they are running ads. Excellent. All right, let's take a look and see what they're doing. Our roots. Only running these on Instagram. Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Okay, cool. So they're using artists that are Asian American, Pacific Islander background heritage, and using them to, I guess in the end, promote Spotify. But it's cool to see Spotify doing a campaign like this, you know, because at the end of the day, they are promoting artists like Nicki through their ad campaign. So there is good kind of crossover support. I like to see that. It can be delicate running ads about a specific culture, especially if Spotify itself does not come from that culture. It's not really for me to say, but this seems like one of the better ways to do it because they are kind of letting the artists speak for themselves. And ultimately it's serving Spotify. Spotify is pushing people to download the app or listen. I like that Spotify is not so much directing the conversation. Maybe they told the artist what to say, but I see Madame Gandhi is here, and she's pretty outspoken socially, and I would be surprised to see her do something like that. So good on Spotify for taking the right approach. All right, these look like ads for podcasts. There we go, getting outside of the music world. True crime podcast by the looks of it. And so we're seeing two story type ads here. That means Spotify is running kind of a double story ad. All right, this looks like more of a newsfeed post, square, creative. Oh, and it's kind of a podcast lyric video, I guess. That's cool because a lot of people are scrolling through their feed on mute probably. So having the words, the transcription pop up is a good idea. And they've got a lot of different versions of creative for even just this one podcast. I like seeing that. All right, here's another podcast, I assume. Kind of cool, kind of meme style, creative butt dial. All right. Cool. I mean, if anything, it's interesting seeing that Spotify's branding isn't super prevalent here. They're using branding based on whatever they're representing. So it's kind of like Spotify is the marketplace and these are all the different vendors. They're not totally dictating the creative design. They understand they have to change their creative to fit whatever the audience is, the product is. I'm already enjoying this way more than Twitch's ads. Let's keep scrolling down. Kelly Rowland has taken over the Black Girl Magic playlist. Again, they are leveraging, I don't say influencers, they're leveraging existing artists to make Spotify seem more appealing. They're having other artists act as the face of Spotify and creating that kind of brand relevance based on who they're targeting. NFL draft playlist. They're creating this connective tissue between people that are probably not Spotify subscribers if Spotify can do their targeting well enough, and people that like these other interests, whether that is the NFL draft in this case, creating a custom playlist from the draft picks, Pacific Islanders, Asian Americans, the Black Girl Magic playlist. They are finding these connections with people that could be customers or could become users. This is interesting. All right, so they're doing an ad of throwback music from an individual user's, your top songs of X year, starting with 2016. This one is a little weird for me because I think at this point we're all fed up with the current situation, and is kind of playing on nostalgia. I mean, it's a very clever angle. It's just a delicate one. And maybe I'm being overly sensitive. To their credit, they're not calling out, while you're stuck in quarantine, why don't you listen to music from happier times? They're not being that on the nose about it. And it's a good idea. I would listen to music that reminds me of previous happier years. I don't know. I'm clearly a little uncomfortable with it, but that's just me. Let's keep going. All right, podcast selections. Yeah, I love that Spotify does these podcast playlists. I think that's a really clever way to present them. And some podcasts have been doing clips or doing much smaller cuts of their usual 45-minute podcast. They'll do a 5-minute cut, and that makes it more likely to get added to a playlist. All right, based on activities, ads based on activities, set the mood with music for cooking. They're showcasing their different cooking playlists. Again, connective tissue between people that may not be listening to Spotify and using something that is relevant to them, that is outside of the, hey, we have music, right? And the next one is Beats for Working Up a Sweat, all their different workout playlists. Spotify seems to have a pretty great ad team. I'm really impressed with these. They are looking for all of these different overlaps with different audiences and doing the targeting based on that, doing the branding based on that. This is really, really well done. I'm super impressed. All right, let's see what's next here. All right, gaming podcast playlists and soundtracks. What did I say? Overlap, right? And this is interesting because they're using the soundtrack cover art of popular video game series like Halo, Red Dead Redemption, I think Witcher was in there, kind of leveraging the familiarity that gamers would have with those games to promote their own service, Spotify's service. I think that's really clever. I can't say that gamers are more or less likely to use Spotify, but seeing Spotify's brand connected with these really popular video game brands, that's a good move. All right, that's Spotify. Let's go and pick an artist to look at. All right, despite how much I just gushed over Spotify, I am an Apple Music user, and I've actually enjoyed the service. It took a while for me to get used to it because I was a Spotify user, but now I'm enjoying it. Let's take a look. Let's go to the new music section and see who's got a new album out and what they're doing to promote it. All right, new music: Nav, Kehlani, Hayley Williams, Ludovico Einaudi. Let's do Kehlani. It was good until it wasn't. Let's look her up on Facebook. Only has 887,000 likes on Facebook. I bet she has 5 or 10 times that on Instagram. And so, just to make it really clear, within Facebook Business Manager, that is how you run more sophisticated ads on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. So just because we're looking at ads on Facebook, they could be running in other places. All right, so this is interesting. It looks like Kehlani only has one ad running on Facebook. And at the time of this recording, her album came out yesterday. So this is brand new. All right, so this ad, which is running on Facebook and Instagram, is promoting what looks like an album bundle giveaway. The link is to TuneSpeak. I'm not familiar with that website, so all right, this is interesting. Let's take a look. All right, winning it was good till it was an album bundle from Kehlani. It doesn't say what's in the album bundle, which I don't love. 23 and a half days, nearly 9 million total entries. That is wild. There's no way that number's accurate. That can't be right. I'm incredibly skeptical that that number is correct. I know she's got a lot of fans. 9 million entries is huge. And if it is, that is a fake number, an artificially inflated number, that doesn't seem like a good marketing move to me, because right now I'm looking at this saying if I enter to win, I've got a 1 in 9 million chance of winning. Which I don't feel that great about. I don't feel like my odds are that good. That maybe it makes her look more popular, which is a flex, I guess. But I got this far when I enter to win, and we'll see what that looks like. Log in to continue. All right, so it's forcing me to provide my information again without telling me what the bundle is. I don't love that. So TuneSpeak wants to see my date of birth and get my email address. That's fine, whatever, I'll do it. Okay. Okay, so this is why there's 9 million total entries, because I can get multiple thousands of entries for what looks like are typical fan activities. So they're kind of gamifying fan behavior. I refer a friend, so that's referral, add an album to Spotify, Apple Music, follow on Spotify. Watch YouTube videos. Yeah, so you could easily get 4,000 or 5,000 entries, I think, with not that much of an issue. Answer a question, look at Instagram photos. Wow, so there's a ton of options. One thing that's interesting to me, so a lot of the options for increasing your entry count is saving the album on Spotify, listening to the song on Spotify, adding it to a playlist, following Kehlani on Spotify. These are things that Spotify's algorithm is looking for to surface an artist in algorithmic playlists like Discover Weekly, New Music, Daily Mixes. So really what they're trying to do is come up with a way to somewhat artificially increase the different on-platform activities on Spotify, on Apple Music, that will get the song on Spotify's radar, and kind of organically increase the amount of streams by getting it into these different algorithmic playlists. So while it's quite clever, it's, I don't know, it feels corny, it feels cheesy. Yeah, so 9 million total entries, divide that by, let's say, 4,000, and that's what the actual number is. I can't do it in my head right now, but I'll do it afterwards and put it on the screen right here. That's how many total people have probably entered. All right, so this is very interesting, and this is what they're running in the US. Let's just take a look, United Kingdom, and see what else they're running. All right, so these look more like traditional album release promo ads. These are little promo videos that are linking to a pivot page. And for those of you who don't know, a pivot page is just a landing page that lists all the different services that you can listen to a given song or EP or album on. What's really interesting with this pivot page, keep in mind, this ad is being run in the UK. The order that these streaming services are listed on. So the first one is Apple Music, and this pivot page is hosted by Linkfire. I believe Apple Music and Linkfire have some type of agreement where if Apple Music is the first option in the pivot page, Linkfire will get access to extra data as far as like play count attributable to this pivot page, and this get a deeper level of access as long as Apple Music is listed first. Which, again, I don't know. I love that the Apple Music should give you that data anyway if it's that easy to make it available. But that is what it is. But the fact that Deezer is next, and then Google Play, iTunes Store, Napster, SoundCloud, Spotify, Tidal. I would expect Spotify to be in the number 2 spot, if not number 1, aside from what I just mentioned. So that's surprising. Deezer, I do work with a handful of artists that have international presence, and I see people outside the US, specifically people in Europe, will go to Deezer. Still not as popular as Apple Music or Spotify, but it's I would understand them putting it up higher for a UK-based ad. Google Play, I'm surprised. iTunes Store, I'm surprised. Napster, I knew they were around. I didn't think people cared about them that much, especially not more than SoundCloud and Spotify. But this is the order. I can't say why this is the order. It could be that an intern built this pivot page and was just going through a checklist of pages to add. The order is just so surprising to me. I feel like it can't be by design, but what do I know? So, all right, so let's take a look at Switzerland, see what Kehlani is running in Switzerland for advertising. This looks like a music video clip. Oh, and she's sending people to YouTube. Cool, all right, boosting the YouTube numbers. So that's interesting that they're running ads in 3 different places, the US, UK, and Switzerland. And in all different places, they are focusing on different objectives. You've got the album giveaway bundle, which we still don't know what that is. In the US, we've got the pivot pages pushing people to the album on different DSPs, streaming platforms. And in Switzerland, they are pushing people to the YouTube video. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they have different objectives. Maybe there are, whatever label Kehlani is signed to, I will look that up afterwards and put it here. It has different teams in different countries, which would make sense that there'd be a US team, a UK team, and maybe just a Europe team. And they all have different objectives. But this is super interesting. I'm really glad I chose Kehlani, and we got to see what is going on here with this interesting album release. I'm gonna look more at TuneSpeak because I've never heard of that, and it just feels so cheesy to say, listen to my song on Spotify and get 100 extra entries into this super vague album giveaway. All right, that's all we've got for this episode. Thank you everyone that watched all the way through. I'm really excited to be doing these again. These are way more effort to do as a video version than a blog, but I will still be publishing it as a blog. I'm not sure how often I'm gonna do these. Frankly, there are enough ads out there that I probably could do it every week. I feel like my clients might get mad that I'm not doing client work and I'm making these videos. But maybe it's every other week, maybe it's every month, we'll see. I encourage everyone to subscribe to this YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up, go to Entrepreneurship and Art. We're gonna be posting all of our content. We've already got a bunch of articles up there for myself, George Howard, Carly Sheridan. The three of us also host a weekly podcast called Entrepreneurship and Art. Links to that are all on entrepreneurshipandart.com as well as in the description. And thank you to Andy Praza for letting me use his song as the kind of theme song for this series. It's playing right now. I hope you enjoy it, and click below to check out more of his music. Follow him on Instagram. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Take care.